I am back from PAX East, and 7.0.2 is coming on Tuesday, so we're going to talk about that and more on this episode of the Escape Podcast from newoverlords.com. Our broadcast aspect today is EPC 422. And with me is the show's producer, Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
That's my favorite joke, Max. Hi, Max. It's going great. Let's see. Been spending some time in SWTOR this past week, as I do every week. Kind of fallen into a bit of a pattern where I'm working on Conquest and Galactic Seasons and leveling and gearing. But I'm finding this week and last week too, this was a little bit true, that leveling is kind of doing less and less leveling because I'm more interested right now in getting aquatic resource matrices. So I tend to do things with my 80s. Right now, it kind of feels like if my character is an 80, it's kind of like wasted playtime if I'm not out there going after ARMs. Because I've been spending a lot of them trying to gear up various characters.
Yeah, I'm all over the ARMs too, and I agree. And I'm not doing it enough, but doing like CZ198 every day is something we should be doing at least once a day on an 80.
Yeah. And it takes 10 or 12 minutes to do CZ198. I actually have some thoughts about CZ198, which I used to dislike CZ198 because I didn't like that one heroic where you have to kill the champ and people kind of stand in line or group up or whatever. It kind of like stops your rhythm of like wait for it to spawn and then like maybe someone's there, maybe so. So that's not an issue anymore because of multi-tagging. But now what tends to be an issue is clicking the little robot cabinets. So there's not enough of those to go around for everyone. But then lately it's been sort of like evening out. So it's not an issue at all. So really, and for a while it was an issue even finding enough mobs because you have to, that one quest where you have to kill 35 of them. You'd be like waiting for mobs to respawn. But
that's usually what takes me the longest of anything there. And if people would group up, and some people don't, they're like, oh no, I'm going downstairs now, so I'm not going to group up, or this is what I imagine that they're saying in my head. But they would still get done in half the time because I'll finish up whatever I need to do here, but I'm still killing mobs and they're killing mobs, and that 35 will just fly by. But no, they're like,
yes, totally, and yes, I've found that, and with the robot cabinets too, it's like really makes a difference if you group up. I had the opposite experience one day doing black hole dailies where I grouped up with someone, and we went down to that basement where you avoid the sensors and click on things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he was like farming those yummy grade 5 mats or whatever, but he was like hitting every circle like over and over again. And I think there's one that respawns or something that they're not supposed to. And I'm like, what? So that day, black hole took forever. But yes, grouping up is good. So yeah, doing stuff on my 80s. Let's see, MFN this week, we went and killed Xeno Analyst, and by Xeno Analyst, I mean the Gree lair boss, not Zen's character that's named Xeno Analyst.
Yes, that was confusing the first time he brought that to the Xeno Analyst fight. Analyst.
Like someone was like, why is he targeting himself?
Yeah. Good one.
Yes, very good one. So that was fun, and we had quite a number of people who came to that fight for the first time and tanked it. And so Corley was there he was there, and he's done it a lot of times, and Max has done a lot of times, and BC also has done a lot of times. So if you're a new tank and you want to try and tank some operations, MFN is a good place to start because we're doing world bosses at least usually, and sometimes we do lair bosses, and sometimes we do an operation. So that's a good thing about MFN. Yep. I mean, really any role, but I'm just focusing on tank this week. I've been spending a lot of time doing Conquest, and I didn't pay a lot of attention to Galactic Seasons. It's just sort of doing itself, which I kind of love. Then on the weekend, I will normally like look and see if there's a couple of ones that I'm almost done with. Like I noticed that I needed like one more mob to be affected by a clickable explodey thing.
Right.
Or
Right.
I needed one more quest by a bounty hunter / smuggler or something like that, and just go out and do it. What I decided recently not to do, and we can argue about this, is the one where you turn in 1,000 rep.
Well, we're going to have to argue about it. Yeah. In just a second when we get to my part. I won't jump the gun on that, but yeah. No, because there's a specific...
I actually decided not to do that one last week, even though it's super easy to do.
Super easy, right. Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah. I mean, and we all have like way more of the rep items probably than we'll ever need. So
yeah, absolutely. Here, I'll go to my bank while we're talking too, which I've got like stacks of them. And you've been... Do you limit them to a single character, or do you like put them all over the place? Or
I started out doing that, but actually they drop so often. I have so many. If I want to turn one in on a particular character, I'll just go get one, or just go get one and then spend it. So I started out like piling them up on one character. Now, since you have to pile them up in order to sort of bleed yourself away from the cap, I just do it with whatever character I have to be logged in at the time.
Yep. Yeah, I've moved to the just get them wherever I need them and get them on a whole bunch of places and do whatever I want. Because I'm gonna hit legendary way before I ever use up all of the tokens that we're gathering out of these weeks.
Yeah. So you interest me now. How's your week been?
Do my ideas intrigue you? Would you like to subscribe to my newsletter?
I thought I already did.
My week has been amazing. So we're going to talk about the other part of my week, the PAX part of my week, as sort of the bulk of the show this week.
Sweet.
But so we're going to be a little bit more front heavy, though. What I did want to talk about what I've been doing in SWTOR and spend a little bit of extra time on it right now, because I finished Galactic Season. I finished Galactic Season and I learned something special, which is really interesting. So first off, I finished Galactic Season last week. So I was done before reset this week. Just because.
He was so sad when he finished too, because he was like, what am I going to do now?
What am I going to do now? And that is a good question for all of us that are finishing Galactic Season early. Or maybe you even bought out the whole season in the beginning. This still may apply to you. If you didn't know, and I did not know until a week ago, if you look in the Achievements tab and you scroll down under Events, I believe, or Legacy. I think it might be under Legacy. Legacy Galactic Seasons. There's some achievements. And these achievements include some of the basic stuff, like get to 100 in Galactic Season. And then what is this one? Here's a key one, and we'll come back to this, but you need to hit legendary with the Shadow Syndicate. That's one. But here's the most interesting one, which is to get 100 complete weekly season objectives. So the deal here is if you're done, or even if you bought it out, if you would like to complete this achievement, you need to complete 100 total weekly season objectives. We still have we still have months to go. You still certainly could do it, because we've got you can do 8 of them a week. Or 7. Does it stop counting after 7? Like if you did more than 7 in a week, I don't know. This would be a good thing to test.
I think it stops counting. Yeah, or doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't increment after 7.
Definitely the weekly progress for Galactic Season stops, but I wonder if the achievement stops counting. It would be nice if the achievement kept counting. Because I'm at 63 out of 100 on weekly season objectives. Getting 100 though, if you do that, you get legendary, and you finish the meta achievement, you get Fenziel's Outlaw customization. And this is basically the Cad Bane armor for Fenziel. No hat, though. I was kind of disappointed. There is no hat. Why is he not wearing the hat? That
Because
would
his
seal the
head is
deal.
so spectacular.
But I mean, this is the Cad. I mean, this is not, it's not an exact replica, but it's pretty
he should
close
have
to
the hat.
the Cad Bane armor. And give him the hat, and then we'd all be walking around with a Cad Bane companion. This is Chad Bane, of course, his great grandfather. But it's cool armor set. So if you want this armor set, you need to do the achievement. Whether or not you've bought it out, whether or not you're done, or whether or not you're not. If you're not, you would complete Galactic Seasons, obviously. Well, it's one of the requirements. But getting to 100 is going to be the long road. The other part of it, though, so this is where we can fight Seema. Is it worth it to not complete this achievement, not get that armor set, so that you can get extra characters more easily to conquest by turning in rep tokens ad infinitum, or in perpetuity, forever and ever, by not getting to legendary with Shadow Syndicate? What do you think? Where do you stand on that?
Well, I'm assuming that you could get it eventually, right? Are you saying you have to get it within the season?
I think you have to get it within the season, yeah. So reach legend rank in the Shadow Syndicate reputation track during the Shadows of the Underworld season. That's how they get you.
Maybe.
So Seema may be clicking all her rep tokens pretty soon.
Well, I mean,
you could still save it till the last week and spread it out, but you have to do it within the season. Interesting.
So is it an armor set, did you say?
It's a customization for the companion.
Oh, customization for him?
Yeah. So, it's a toss-up.
I don't know. I mean, I don't value a customization for him, but at the same time, if you can't get it, then I want it.
It's the coolest customization, but I agree. I mean, how many times am I even going to have him out as a companion? Probably never, because I use Shea Vizsla all the time.
Well, I mean, there is a Galactic Seasons target.
Well, now, but I'm not going to get this probably until the end.
No. I mean, there's a weekly target that crops up where you kill 100.
Right. So but I'm not going to put this customization. I'm not going to have this customization until the season is over.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So I would never have a reason. I would never have an achievement, like a weekly.
I mean, would you if he had a hat?
Ooh. Now you make it an interesting. I don't know. It
is
looks
cool,
pretty cool.
though. I like the look of it.
It makes him look a lot cooler than he looks without it. So I think it could be something I would potentially want to go after.
Yeah.
So
especially if you make the assumption, which I might, that the next Galactic Season will have its own rep that you can do conquest with.
True. Now we'll have probably a little bit of a break in between, but you could go back to.
And also, there's going to be the Manon Daily area, which presumably might have a rep, maybe more than one.
Rep. Maybe there'll be more reps. There probably will be more reps.
And I still have Onderon rep that I haven't finished, and the space missions rep that I haven't. That will take forever to finish, because that's literally 20 rep at a time, I think.
And I still have Voss, so there's that. I don't know why I still have Voss, but I still have Voss.
Well, there you go.
Those Gormak, they scare me, apparently. So we'll see. So Tetsemi asks, do you think we will get Galactic Season 3 with 7.1? I don't know. Maybe it's possible. I know they've been thinking about what Galactic Season 3 would potentially look like. They even mentioned that in one of the streams, I think. I don't know. That sounds a little soon to me, but that would mean 7.1.
So when is 7.1?
I would, it would probably be, the timing would probably work out. I wish 7.1 would come here before the Galactic Season was over. But the Galactic Season is going to end in June? July? End of June? Sometime around there. We will not have 7.1 in June. So it could. It's going to be a while before we get 7.1.
Ending 72 days from now.
72 days. All right. So that's sometime after April. That's all I can do from a math perspective while I'm trying to read and do a podcast.
There was a Galactic Seasons target this week, which was to kill the Nightmare Pilgrim, which is the world boss on Voss, and that was that kind of breathed new life into that fight. I know lots of people were at least trying for it, which I thought was a very positive and interesting wrinkle coming out of Galactic Seasons.
Some of our ops teams were going after it. Do you know if they got it done?
I don't know.
That is interesting because that's a tough fight. So we tried it with 16 people that knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I joined a pug group, and they no, that wasn't happening.
They failed.
Well,
now their failure is complete.
There's a lot of misinformation out there about that fight. Like they were convinced that you cannot do it with more than 16. And the first time we wiped, they said it was because someone else hit the boss, and so they were over 16. And I said, no, I don't think that's a thing anymore. And they're like, well, obviously it is because it just killed us. Okay.
This is like those boss fights on OSIS.
You're right. So much good information about them.
Yeah. It's like rumors and legends building up around. No, you have to hop on one leg and turn around in a circle. Oh, we wiped. Well, it was because you weren't hopping on one leg. See, this proves it because you didn't hop on one leg. Not gonna.
Is that your OSIS adventurer voice?
That is my OSIS adventurer voice. You did not hop on one leg. Yes. So there you go. Yeah. So you are not limited to 16 players. You do not have to have the old unique item that you had to apply to yourself to give yourself a buff. You do not need to pass go and collect $200. It is, I heard there were groups attempting it with like 100 players just for fun. I think SWTOR tried to put together a group of like 100 people just to do it, to see if they could do it with that many and how fun it would be. I don't actually know the results.
I love that idea. Yeah, I love that idea.
So 16 geared people. We did not beat the enrage timer. We had we might have had like 3 tanks. I think we had 3 tanks and probably 4 or 5 healers. Nobody was dying, so we probably had too much healing and tanking. Except we did have some tanks dying in some earlier attempts. The tanks get hit really hard, so you got to be really good with your cooldowns and know how to do that fight. But it's a fun fight still. It's worth it. It's a worthy fight. You feel good trying it. You feel good. You'll feel good to completing it. I like those kind of worthy fights.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I can't do math during a podcast, but I can talk about the news. Should we do that, Seema? I think we should.
Yes.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So, first up in the news is Seema to talk about the first thing up in the news.
We have a patch coming this coming Tuesday, and it's 7.0.2. And the biggest thing, or there's 2 big things really that are coming with it. And one I've kind of all grouped together, which is handling of currencies, and some in 2 ways. One is some of the ones like tokens of commendation that have been capping out really early in the week are going to have a higher cap. So they're raising the cap from 999 to 2,500. So that'll help a little bit. And then the second area of currency changes is they're making tech fragments easier to get in almost all the places where you normally get tech fragments. There's going to be more dropping for operations bosses. There's going to be more dropping from a ton of different things. So it'll be slightly easier to get tech fragments, and you won't cap out on tokens of commendation right away, which, by the way, are not going to be called conquest commendations. They're getting a name update as well.
Right. Good name updates. It's going to make it more apparent where these commendations apply to and what to use them for,
yes.
Which I appreciated. Yeah, Warzone commendations are now going to be called WZ1, and yeah, So it's things like that. It'll match what it comes from instead of being some weird thing. Yeah. Yeah, hazardous matter catalysts are OP for operations. Thyrician productions is WZ for Warzone. And Decurian isotope stabilizers are FP for Flashpoint. That makes sense.
That's very clear. But the other sort of big news is that they're going to make losses in conventional PvP, in other words, war zones, count towards the weekly. So that is something that I didn't think they were going to do because I thought they were philosophically against it because people have been asking for it for so long, and they sort of remained convinced that doing it this way was helping queue times. But no, they're going to change it. So I think it's a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio. So like, if you need to win 3 games, if you need to win a game, you get 3 points, but you can get 1 point by losing. So you could lose 3 times or win 1 time.
Yeah. And it was less, it was less for queue times as it was for, having people that would jump in and queue up, lots of people queuing up
and then
who
do
were
nothing.
throwing the game, doing nothing, and making it not fun for the people that actually wanted to PvP, especially in team-based PvP, which it all is in the unranked.
So I'm really happy for PvPers everywhere that this is happening. It feels like something that's fair, and I'm glad they're doing it. Just hopefully it works out in a way that doesn't make them want to go back, because we've been here before.
Right.
And they ended up changing it back because it had, measurable effects that they didn't want. So just be good out there. Be good people.
Be excellent to each other and party on.
Yes, and party on.
And then it was also confirmed that we are getting, what are we getting, Seema? 2 tickets to...
Oh, the gun show. Thank you for reminding me. Weapons and Outfitter. That's the big thing.
2 tickets to the gun show. You know what I'm talking about.
And I bought a weapon tuning.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What kind of weapon tuning?
It's a fiery one.
Yes. So it's probably the flame accelerant or whatever.
I'll tell you. Hang on.
Because
I can look. Because if I just look and just put weapon tuning, I'll go right to it. Where are my collections? Weapon tunings.
Incinerator. It's probably Incinerator, which is my current favorite.
Yes, Incinerator. It is pretty cool because when you draw your weapons, they're not fiery at first, and then they kind of and then they're fiery.
And if you listen close, if you turn up your sound effects, it has the correct sound effect of that ignition. I have a propane torch, there you go. As one should, but it's like that, whoosh, that little whoosh sound that when you ignite an accelerated.
I just like that little really cool detail, because then you don't have to worry about if they're on fire when you're wearing them in the holster at your hip. Right.
Exactly.
Which I don't want to have to worry about that.
Like when your lightsaber glitches and it continues to be ignited while it's holstered and you're flying around on your mount and you realize that
you're like, oh, my legs,
cutting their
Do
own
I
legs
still
off.
have legs?
Right. Yeah. Excellent. Good move. That is a good one. Let's see. I like the Incinerator. I like damaged weapon tuning. I like the Executioner, especially on my Force characters. And I like the Repair Droid weapon tuning on my droid characters. It's kind of cool. It gets that little droid pops out and floats around you and does this little shocking motion to like it's repairing you. So I have a bunch of characters that are dressed. They're using the droid style armors, and I use that tuning. And then they have a little repair droid that's sort of repairing them as they go. It's a nice little.
By the
vignette.
way, the reason I bought that recently is because it was on sale, I think, last week.
Excellent. We got to keep an eye out for those sales. especially with being able to use weapons and outfitter. I think everyone is going to be interested in watching the cartel market then, because it makes a lot of it. It's getting more and more important now to be able to have those cool weapons you want to win at Space Barbie.
Yes.
All right. And also, just to wrap up in the news, we did have a PvP, some questions around the PvP rewards. So this doesn't apply to many people. This is the top 96 character rewards. And so this is the top rank PvPers on all of the servers. So the idea is the top 96 players across, I think that's 96 per server. Yeah, because it's 3 or 4. They say here specifically it's 3 or 4. Yeah, 6. So 3 for solo and 3 for group for each of the advanced classes on a server. And what was happening is all of those rewards went out. Some people got confused because they looked at the leaderboards, and some people that were on the leaderboards did not get, they sort of got skipped over. They got left off the list and they did not get rewards. And it went to somebody else as the third place, even though they were third and somebody else was fourth. There are other requirements. So the leaderboards were not necessarily exactly correct, because there are ways to get disqualified from being able to receive these rewards and win a place as one of the top ranked players. You can't.
They were correct as far as leaderboards go, but they weren't the only data point, something like that.
No, they even said that what the leaderboards were showing by the end of the season wasn't updated with these extra requirements, even though it should have been or could have been. And they'll try to keep that more current in the future. So the leaderboards were not correct. The rewards that went out were. So if you did not get a reward and it showed up on the leaderboard and you thought that you should, it was because you shouldn't have been on the leaderboard.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Because you could get disqualified for cheating. You can get disqualified for being banned from the game. Seems like a rational reason to get disqualified. So there's a few reasons that you might not have gotten credit for all of the games that showed up and got you on the leaderboard, because if there's win trading, that would have kicked you off and disqualified you. But even there's a minimum requirement of wins. So you might have played just only a handful of matches or a few matches and won every single one. So it got you really high ranking. But if you didn't play enough matches, that's not really fair. And you shouldn't have been on the leaderboard then.
I mean, I did read this post, but here's how I read it. It's like, oh, I see. Okay. Words, more words.
PvP, blah, 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 blah. Scroll down, skip, spacebar. Yeah, we know how that goes. But that's what that was about. In guild news, we have a guild, and
yes, we do.
We need more real life events now that things are starting to open back up again, and travel is starting to become just a little bit easier. I had a little guild meetup. There was only 2 of us, but we'll talk about that in a second. But we need to have more of those kinds of meetups. So let's keep an eye out for that for AIE for the rest of the year. Someday, and that day may never come, we may have a Nerdtacular again. Scott in 2020 he was like seconds away from a down payment, and then everything sort of went off the rails. I really wish we could have that kind of event again. PAX East felt a lot like a really, really big Nerdtacular, but then the thing you sacrifice when you're really big like that is the interpersonal, like knowing half the people and having something in common with all of them. Lots of things in common with all of them. We have something in common with everybody at PAX, but lots of things in common with all of them. But yeah, so we'll have more of those, the more opportunities with the different cons. New York Comic Con, the Cantina event, Star Wars Celebration is going on in Anaheim. I won't be there. I don't know if we have many people going, but that kind of thing. Let's keep it out and make those things happen. What else we got going on in the guild stuff, Seema?
That's
Anything
a good
we
question.
need to do? Shout out. I don't know if our ops teams are all completely full. They might
I don't either.
have an opening or two still.
We'll just make the normal comment that it's always worth checking, because even if they do have a full roster, every ops team often needs someone to fill in.
Right, exactly. So what you want to do there then is you want to go to aie-guild.org, and in the upper right is our Discord link. And you click on that and you go down to the SWTOR channel and you say, hey, ops teams, I know you got teams running almost every night of the week, and I know you need people to fill in from time to time. I would love to fill in on XYZ night. Who's got what going on, and do you need anybody permanent? Definitely come join in. Join in that, or join in on the open stuff on Tuesday.
So Stask is saying that Where's the Cantina is looking for a permanent DPS, and Where's the Cantina is Sunday nights, I'm pretty sure. Wait, is it Sunday night?
Will there be a cantina?
Mondays. It's Monday night. I get the Sunday night teams and the Monday night teams swapped
and is
in
that
my brain.
Is that a Republic side? I think that's a Republic
an imp side.
It's an imp side. Oh, that one's an imp side? I
Yeah.
think we have two other teams that are running on Monday nights that are Republic side, aren't they? Crazy. We've got a lot of teams going on lately. That's excellent. So yeah, do it. Let's do it. Let's get those going. That's how Marcus started in SWTOR and started in AIE. Is he heard us saying, "Hey, we need somebody on a team," and he came and joined, and that's how that all got going. Shout out to the chat room.
Okay. I have to correct myself. It's a pub team.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, I went to.
It's one of the two Republic side teams.
Mondays, 7:30 Central, and it's a pub team.
Excellent. And Stask is a healer.
So you're definitely going to survive. That's how I read that.
Some of you may die, but that's a risk Stask is willing to take. So yeah, excellent. In also just with the chat room, thank you very much. Things are complicated. Podcasting is a complicated profession. Would you agree? I would, because I'm making things more and more complicated all the time. And I rely on the chat room to be my eyes and ears on the stream and the feeds, and making sure everything is going correctly. And
look, it's Zeno Analyst.
Reminding me to check my checklists. In fact, Zen was the one who said I should have more checklists. I have a checklist of checklists these days, so that's always really helpful as well. So thank you, and we will talk to more of you after the show. But now I don't have a. We're gonna talk about PAX.
Bet you didn't see this coming!
I kind of did, because I've been telegraphing it for a little while, but I was kind of late to deciding that I was going to go to PAX. So I've never been to PAX. I got sort of convinced because Corley has been to PAX quite a few times. Almost every other year for about the past 6 or 7 years, it sounds like he has been there. And he does the thing where he signs up and jumps in as what's called an enforcer, which is one of the team that helps all of Penny Arcade and the organizers run the show. So he was on shift from 2 to 7, and I think still is today and tomorrow, running the Bring Your Own PC section. So I'll talk about that in just a second. But I wanted to talk about what I saw at PAX. I did get some Star Wars connections. There were no Star Wars games. I was a little bit disappointed in that, but I wanted to get out. I wanted to get out there. I wanted to talk to some gamers and some developers. I wanted to go see Corley. And then I wanted to talk to some more devs for something that Seema and I might be doing to talk to more developers and game makers and creators out there in the industry. So stay tuned more for that to newoverlords.com. But let me show you what I did. So the other thing I did while I was there is I spent a lot of time with my new camera, the one that is in front of me right now. That's bolted to a tripod in the teleprompter, and I put it on a handheld tripod and got a mini shotgun mic for it, a Diva mic, and a Deity. That's what it is. Deity is like Deity and Rower are the two top mics for the Sony A7 series cameras. And I practiced trying to run and gun, take video of a show like this, learn to do the vlogging thing. I have a wide angle lens for up close vlogging. I am not very good yet. I will say that.
You will be, though. Actually,
but I need to practice. Yeah.
What I've seen so far has been pretty spectacular. So I think you're being too modest for once.
Well, you haven't seen my talking head talking to the camera shots. I'll show you a couple of those in just a second to turn the audio on. But I do have, so this is just about 3 or 4 minutes of the highlights of SWTOR and Star Wars in general cosplay that I did see at PAX. So there was BioWare had a gear, like t-shirt booth. They didn't show any games. They had a t-shirt booth, and I have a picture of the outside of that booth. And the t-shirts and the gear that the BioWare gear that they were selling wasn't SWTOR at all. It was only
like Dragon Age and
it was Mass Effect and Mass Effect and Dragon Age. I think it was just those two. And so both Corley and I stopped by to yell at them about that. But obviously, they're probably not even like BioWare employees. They were just probably contracted as part of the marketing, like a marketing organization. So like, yeah, whatever. Okay, guys. But yeah,
they're just saying. So you don't want to buy a shirt?
Yeah. Oh, another one of these. But some good Star Wars cosplay. So these two Jedi that I'm showing right now, they are actually podcasters as well. You know, I'm a bit of a podcaster myself. That's a Star Wars reference. You know, I'm a bit of a scientist myself, Peter Parker. They do a podcast called the Mandalorian Mandalorian Hollow Raiders or something like that. I will pause it here. I'll get to them in just a second, but I actually they did a live filming of one of their podcasts at the show, which was kind of cool. And we'll give them a shout out here in just a second. This is me and Corley. So here, I will back it up and you can see how poor of a job I am doing at being an interviewer live, trying to hold up the camera and stare at it and talk to Corley. And the audio on this mic is not that great. It's just really loud in that wide open conference room, but I'm working on it. So here we go. We're here at the Bring Your Own PC area, just trying to figure out what's going on around here. Corley's giving me the tour. He's an expert at PAX. He's been here many years, both running things for a few of these areas as an enforcer, and obviously knows about a lot of what's going on the floor. So thank you, Corley, for giving me the tour. Hanging out last night, grabbing some food. That was awesome.
Not a problem.
And we'll go see if we can find some indie developers. All right. So that was me and Corley. We hung out a couple times, had some, grabbed food out there in Boston, and he was running that area that was right behind us there was called the Bring Your Own PC area. And what you would do is ahead of time, and because it all sold out, you paid $35 to reserve a spot for all 4 days. For as long as you were there, you got like half of a 6-foot folding table, and you could bring your PC or like a whole desktop rig or a laptop or whatever you want and set it up and have that base of operations.
That seems like an incredible deal. $35 for 4 days.
If I had known, I would have done it. Just to have a place to drop my laptop and camp out. You have to have a special badge to even walk in that area, and they have the enforcers like Corley who are watching it the whole time, and they have guards there all night, also security, watching it. So you could keep your stuff there, like your desktop PC if you brought that, you could keep it there the whole time. But just having that, I had the camera. Being able to copy some photos or video off and look at it on the laptop, that would have been really nice. I will definitely do this in the future if I ever go back to a PAX. It seems like a really great opportunity. So that was cool. But yeah, we had a couple more. So here's the BioWare gear booth. Again, I don't know what they were thinking here. So it's just, it was cool looking. They had the cool art. You could stand in front of it and take a picture. It was sort of like a backlit fabric thing, and it was really cool. But yeah, no Star Wars stuff, so they got yelled at for that. A couple of Imperial officers here. I liked these guys. These guys look pretty good. They said they're not ready for 501st. They're not certified yet, but they hope to continue to work on their cosplay and get it up to...
They do look good.
They did
and
look
they have
good.
the stance, too.
Yeah.
And he's like in your face as well.
So check out The Mandalorian. This guy was pretty good. Not to denigrate the costume at all, but it photographs much better than it looks in person. It looked good in person, but you could tell it was plastic in person. You look at it here in the video and the photographs, it looks like metal. It looks like the real thing, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
It really does.
That was a good one. So he was a star. Everybody wanted pictures with the Mandalorian. So that was a good one. I'm putting black screens in front of these so I could move the cursor back.
I wonder if he has wearing a mask under his helmet.
A good. I don't know. Probably not. This guy was a Boba Fett, but let me see if I can turn it on. Go back. He had his helmet rigged up with an external speaker, so he could talk and you could hear his voice.
Yeah, that's one of the sad things.
See how loud and clear his voice was? So that was super cool. He did the electronics work himself to have a microphone inside the helmet and then an external speaker, so his voice came through really, really loud and clear, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
Here's another rebel. This is a rebel officer, a rebel pilot, right? Custom made helmet and a couple parts that they purchased. He was talking to me about it a little bit. This is on the outside area. So PAX is 3 stories. It's 3 floors of stuff. The expo is all the first floor, and then there's 2 other floors, which I'll show you some of the stuff for. Here's another Imperial officer. This guy was really serious. Really well done and well acted. He never broke character. And then I think I've got another one of a whole set of... Oh, no. This is the bros. So, not Star Wars, but I loved these guys. This is the Tracksuit Mafia from the Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, yeah.
Hawkeye show. So I saw these guys, and I had my camera put away. I spent time to take my camera out, and I chased them down, and I ran up behind them, and I said, bro, can I get a picture, bro? And they had so they all played into that, and they were like, yeah, bro, let's take a picture, bro, and they all grouped up. I was quite amused. I'm like, oh, Slavic squat, good, true, bro. I can tell.
What I love about this is it's like an easy costume, but it's also like a hard costume because you have to coordinate with 4 different people.
Yeah.
And you have to be like if they were going to do like for any other type of event, they'd have to like cut their calendars together and can we make it all at the same time? And
yeah, it was good and fun though.
Free shrugs.
Yeah, that was amusing. Here's another Boba Fett that is quite good. With a really good backpack on this Boba Fett. So this Boba Fett, in fact, he's there. There was some media there. That was actually a media crew that was filming him, and then I was watching the media crew to learn steal all of their secrets. Oh, this is so this three Jedi and a Sith, and then I forgot what her name is in the middle. It's Obi-Wan's girlfriend, from Mandalore. Who is Bo-Katan's sister. What's her name? Katan. Anyway, yeah, I'm chat room. Chat room, what's her name?
Satine.
Satine.
Yeah.
Really good costume. She custom made the costume. They all four of these custom made all of their costumes. Actually, I don't know if the 2 Jedi custom made those costumes, because I know they got, at least one of them got their lightsaber from Disney, and the other one got their lightsaber from a custom lightsaber shop. And he wouldn't tell me which shop because he said they were kind of crappy and he wasn't really happy with it. But yeah, so these guys were pretty fun. And then the second day I ran into this same group in this same place, and they're like, hey, we just saw you yesterday, but they were in a different cosplay the next day, and it was a non-Star Wars cosplay, but they brought a second costume set for the second day, which was dedication to the cause. So yeah, they were pretty cool. I talked to them for a while because I was asking about their costumes and their lightsabers.
I thought so too, Apollos. I thought it was a setup for a joke. 2 Jedi, a Sith, and a princess walk into a bar.
So yeah, well, here we got Obi-Wan and Satine, who are an item, as the case may be. And they all did know about Star Wars: The Old Republic, of course. So that was good. Did you see her shoes? That was a highlight of the costume, both for her and for everyone else. I think most of this is just me chatting with them for a while. But I can show you the rest of the show too. But yeah, it was cool stuff. Oh, this was the HoloNet. So these were the first 2 Jedi that I showed. This is their podcast. They have 4 people that do the podcast. HoloNet Marauders Live, a Star Wars fan podcast. So they did their show, and they broke it into 2 parts, which was kind of cool. So you could go back and listen to it. In one part, they talked about a bunch of the old Star Wars games, video games that they played and liked over the years. And in the second part, they polled the audience and did a little Q&A and did some voting and sort of created the ideal Star Wars game of the future. And then by the end, they sort of showed up on the screen what all of the voting and polls and choices resulted in the game that they were creating, which was a fun little exercise, a fun little audience participation thing for the HoloNet Marauders. So shout out to HoloNet Marauders. I talked to them for a little while. They were pretty cool. Maybe we'll have to have a SWTOR Escape podcast at some con in the future. We'll have to see who all we can get there to help us produce it. So this is one of the breakout rooms. So there were a series, I think there were about 8 of the theater rooms where there were sessions going on across the con as well. But the whole first floor of the con is the expo, which we saw. In fact, I've got some more video of that. I'll switch over to the longer video. The whole first floor was the show floor. And then the second floor was and I'll go to some of those later. So here's the show floor. So this is overlooking the entire show floor, the expo floor. And the expo show floor is broken up into 2 parts. One is all the video game part, which is in the front. And then the board game stuff is more towards the back. And then behind that is a big PC free play area where there's just about 100 PCs all wired up that anyone can sort of sit down at, ask for time, and you get like 45 minutes to sit down and play a ton of games that they have installed. There was the bring your own PC area, which we talked about. And then there was hundreds of tables for board games, D&D, to get together with friends and hang out. It's a 4-day event that you could just have space to go and play all day and all night. I think it was open till 10 p.m. And it seemed like people were having a blast. So tons of stuff to do. I spent most of my time in this area in front talking to devs. So there are a couple bigger devs, not a bunch of ones. This is a Baldur's Gate. And then Gearbox was there with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is a hot commodity right now. Here's me chatting to the camera, talking about what I'm going to do. Looking weird. I don't know what's going on with my hair there. That was when I was talking to Corley. Intel had a huge booth. AMD had a section, but Intel was taking up like 20% of the main video game show floor, the whole center section. They had smaller hardware manufacturers showing off custom cases, like this case. Look at this case. It looks like a fish tank. It's really, really cool. A bunch of glowy lights, glass on 3 sides. And then they had their new gaming NUCs, so the network devices, which is sort of like it's about the size of a loaf of bread, but an entire gaming PC piled into that loaf of bread size case. AMD was there, so hardware vendors, peripheral vendors, but a lot of developers and a lot of small studios, indie studios. That was a really fun part of it. Here's me talking to one of the indie studios of this fun little game called Writer's Block. It's sort of like the word search, like Boggle, but you do it in an adventure, sort of like a adventure mode, competitively against another character. That's sort of
interesting.
And you have goals within the match to like defeat the character. They might have like buffs on them that, like short words. They're weak to short words and strong against long words. So in order to get done in time, you have to do a bunch of short words. Here, I'll skip ahead to sort of. I think I've got their game going on a little bit. No, that's not that one.
I love word games.
This one. There's like these kind of games. There's a lot of like pixel platformer fighter games. This next one. So this woman, she and her husband did this Aaron's gift. It's not Aaron. Aaron. I think that's how she pronounced it. But she did all of the art. So I'll spin the camera around here in a second. She did all of the art, and her husband did the game mechanics, and they co-wrote the story. So it's a narrative adventure story, and with really rich, beautiful artwork. Look at that. And that's the developer there. That's her husband. And you play through the story by playing the game. They started out as a husband and wife team, and they wanted to write a book, and they wanted to write their own story, and ended up saying, "Well, why don't we make it into a video game? Because we've got those skills too." And so this is where they ended up, which is kind of cool. But a lot of this kind of thing, a lot of unique games, a lot of game types of games that you've seen before, some new stuff. It wasn't. Like here, it's got some VR stuff. This is like a VR puzzle game. There's sort of VR adventure games. Not a ton of VR, just a few. But a lot of really cool, interesting things. Nothing super groundbreaking. I was hoping to see a little bit more like no NFT games. Not that anybody's really hot on NFT or think that's going to be really fun. In fact, a lot of people think that's a horrible idea, but I didn't see any, which I was surprised at. What
does that even mean to have an NFT game?
You would buy an NFT as your game piece, in effect.
Oh,
so
I see.
That's how the NFT games work. So you buy into it by buying basically a token off the blockchain. And then you can sell that token, your game piece, when you're done with it. And maybe you can earn in-game currency to purchase another game piece with in-game currency, and then you can sell that on the blockchain. So there's sort of like a play to pay.
I get it.
But people hate it, and it's pyramid schemey and really not in a good place right now. Here's me talking about the food trucks, or I don't know what I'm talking about. me practicing talking to the camera. Food trucks were awesome. I ate at food trucks most of my time. I think I ate at 3 food trucks over the course of the 2.5 days that I was there. Here I am talking about a food truck, I guess. I ate at an Asian food truck. I ate at the taco food truck and an empanada food truck. Let me see if this is a non-Star Wars cosplay. So this is one of the Gearbox game styles, cell shaded I don't know if you've ever seen someone do the cosplay like this, where they outline everything in black so it looks like the cell shaded character. She did a really good job on this. Even like the makeup has the black lines, like her face and skin is cell shaded. Looks really good. But yeah, so whole expo floor of all of that stuff, and then the 2 other floors. I mean, there was even a little side area with a little dance floor set up with Dance Dance Revolution, the old Xbox game, and people, doing the dances up there. There's a really cute moment with 2 like 8-year-olds, a boy and a girl, who didn't even know each other, who got up there and did a little dance with like a Pac-Man themed dance, and they were dancing around on the stage and doing a really good job.
Nice.
Bunch of rooms, sort of smaller rooms for both tournaments, like handheld gaming tournament, console gaming tournaments. The main stage downstairs had a big head-to-head tournament with competitive teams. There was a room upstairs. I think I have some video a little bit later that shows, here's the PC free play area. Rows and rows of networked computers there, and you just can say, hey, I want to go play, whatever they've got installed. And they've got a ton of things installed, and you can get other things and try it out. And so any game you could possibly imagine pretty much off of Steam. So that was really cool. But yeah, especially upstairs, this is all the gaming area in the back. A console room with classic consoles. So Nintendo 1, Xbox One, Atari, and then they had a game library where you could come in and you could check out all of the old classic games that ran on those consoles, take it over, play it on the console, and bring it back. They had a few food trucks inside the building here. That was interesting. This was them closing the walls. So the video game part of the expo closes at 7 p.m., but the board game part of the expo and all of the PC play and tables stay open until 10. Oh, there's the 2 little kids. They just finished up. I didn't catch them in time. But that was hilarious. This is me chatting at the camera. I may try to cut it together into a highlight reel. We'll see. I think I was walking down the hallways. This is me waiting to get into the podcast. I think we can skip past this. Yep, there's the Monitors podcast. Here's me looking kind of tired. I was tired by the end. I think I had a couple pictures of just those console rooms upstairs, though. That were pretty cool. I'll go to those. There's these guys.
Those are my favorite shots. The ones with you just walking and your face.
Well, I was even talking too. So.
Right. Well, we don't know that.
Here. What am I even saying? Be cool, $35, get a seat for 4 days, set up your own PC, have a home base. I would totally do this next time. Totally do this.
Hostile Mars, Rusted Moss.
Yeah, some good indie games. A lot of pin trading and pin walls going on. That was me and the.
What is that person doing?
I don't know what he was like, sorting the pins on the walls. I don't know I didn't catch what he was doing. I didn't get what that purpose of that wall. It almost seemed like there was a purpose to that pin wall, and I didn't catch what it was, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. There I am out of focus. There I am riding the escalator. There I am. I went to each room and did like a voice intro. Oh, there's Geralt. You're a witcher. There's somebody dancing in the background. Dancing on the stage. That's hilarious. And here's the console area. This is the console library for checking things in and out. Here's speed running. So this is like a classic game, and someone will sit down who's an expert at the game and speed run it and complete it, like the original Mario or something, and complete it in like the minimum amount of time possible, like 7 minutes, that kind of thing. And you could sit in the audience and watch the speedrunners. That was kind of cool. So tons and tons of stuff This was part of what they call the Omegathon. You can sign up. Anyone, as you register, can put your name in to be part of the Omegathon. And that's a tournament, a games tournament that goes for all across all 4 of the days. And there's brackets, and you basically compete and, whittle down to the semifinals and get eliminated, or you make it to the final round and you go head to head. And each round of the Omegathon is like a different style of game. Mm-hmm. And it culminates on the big stage, 2 people head to head on the big stage for the final competition, where last year, I don't know what, it's happening tomorrow for this year, but last year it was a VR game. It was like a head to head VR game, almost like one of those office simulators. So two people up on stage, each with headsets on the big stage. You could see each of their screens up there. It looked really like a really amusing way to do it. And then I flew home. And this is my plane taking off and me trying to see if I could do some video out the window. And I did, except it's a little bouncy. There's great image stabilization. So this was very bouncy while I'm taking off. And still, the image stabilization, it turned out pretty good. This is the first time I've seen this part all the way through. Look at that. Oh, I'm liking this. So then I flew home. Cool. And that's through the window of the plane. Just me sticking the camera up to the cloudy, scratched up glass on the plane.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that came out good. It was a sunset shot. Low light works really well on this. It's a beautiful camera. I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, so I'm ate up a lot of time, but it was fun. Fun little. Hopefully, people had fun seeing the tour, seeing some of the Star Wars cosplay at least. And we gotta yell at BioWare to get some more Star Wars: The Old Republic at PAX. PAX West is coming up in about 5 months, I believe, and that'll be in the Seattle area. I have other reasons to go to Seattle if this
pays
I don't know,
yeah,
pays off, and if it works out, I could see maybe going to a PAX again, and doing it in Seattle would be kind of fun, because then I've got all of my old business friends up in Seattle that I would go and see. All right. Well, that is enough of me chatting about PAX. Hopefully you all got a little bit of fun out of that. Maybe I will cut it together into a highlights reel. But as I said, hopefully we'll get more of those kind of events going on, where we can see some SWTOR stuff at these events and all of us get together, which was what I would really like to have happen. So with that, we can kick our EPC 422 droid out of an airlock to broadcast this episode to all of you. To keep from missing out, subscribe to New Overlords on YouTube and iTunes, and you can find all the links and more of what's next on newoverlords.com, which has a slightly new look. It's a little bit of a placeholder, but new look on newoverlords.com and new look on our Twitch channel. You sort of see the studio in the background on both of those right now. Follow me on Twitter at MaxTheGray, and I'll try to keep you up to date there as well. And for the Alea Iacta S Guild on Starforge and in all of the games that we play, check out aie-guild.org. And the Discord link is in the upper right. Jump in there, and we would be happy to get you an invite. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.